So if I do that, that looks like that's on fire, but you can see it's not. That's when they found themselves as a performer. They become an exaggerated version of themselves. So this is going to be the first magic trick you ever see. It immediately, I'm in there.
So what would the name for the magic trick be?
The Lovable trick box.
Oh, I like that.
The simplest, best magic tricks out there. The
Kills.
magicians love, and they do it, and then they stop it because they buy stuff or they learn stuff, and it's almost like they want to justify how good or how technical they are by all this stuff that they've gone through, forgetting that what's important is that bit beforehand, the simple stuff.
Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Creating Magic number 5. Today we got Steve Rowe, graphic designer, magician, and creator extraordinaire. Well, we're there.
Woo! You're very kind.
Very all of the things that I said were true, so it's not kindness, it's just
We'll see.
So Steve, we're gonna start with something very light-hearted, okay?
Okay.
So I've done some research on you, and I have discovered that for the past 2 years, I think it was for the past 2 years, for Christmas on Instagram, you do every day, you perform a new magic trick.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, my question is, how did the idea come about? And if the things that you perform are creations or just thoughts that you have, passing it over to
Okay.
you.
Yeah. What an interesting question, because nobody's ever asked me about this before. The idea came about purely because of COVID and not having anything to do. Sat in my office and I was doing a lot of homeschooling for my children, and I wanted to kind of keep the creative flow going. And so I set myself a challenge, a project, because when you're a working magician, it's often difficult to get videos and get, interaction with your fans, as it were, or your followers. And so I wanted to kind of give them a little bit something back to remind them that I'm still here, that I'm still doing magic, and that I haven't, gone from COVID, I haven't stopped business or whatever. So I had this idea of doing magic every day during Christmas. Now I thought about how long that should be, whether it should be like 10 days lead up or I set myself a challenge, which was a real challenge, which I'll explain in a moment. But it just seemed 25 days of magic from the 1st of December up to Christmas Day. A little piece of magic every day. I wanted it. Originally, I was going to be doing like all my original creations, all my own stuff. But then I thought I didn't need to do that. What I wanted to do was theme it to Christmas. And obviously I don't have Christmas magic as such. It's a lot of sweet-based magic and, other things. But I wanted really to make it Christmas themed. So I had a few ideas. I knew the finale I wanted to end in Lolli Hero, but it being Santa Claus. I don't know. Did you see that one?
I did not, that one. I'm going to watch.
Right. So Christmas Day was Lolli Hero, but it was Santa Claus. So I chewed the lolly in the shape of Santa Claus. I had various ideas of different things that I'd created that I could steer towards Christmas, but also my favourite props and ideas and routines that I could make towards Christmas. So not necessarily my own creations, but I've used my skills and my kind of creativity to make them Christmas themed as such. Yeah.
Was that the biggest challenge that you faced, making them Christmas themed, or being consistent and not missing a day?
So the reason I was saying about it being a challenge was some 30-second videos took about 8 hours to make.
Yeah, I know.
What I mean by that is to think of the idea, and then to make, if it was a prop-based effect, to make the prop, and then to film it, and then to get it right, and then to produce it. It was literally a whole day doing a 30-second video. But then other ones took me, maybe an hour maximum. Yeah. It really depended on which ones it was. One example was I use Brad Manuel's applause card in my cabaret shows. Do you know the one where it says applause more, thank you. Yeah. So it's a card it's a plaque that you sort of spin round basically, and it says applause, more, louder, thank you. So I wanted to do that, but with a Christmas theme. Did you see that video? That one? No. Okay. So I thought, okay, what can I do? I've got to make it a Christmas message. So it was wishing you a Merry Christmas.
Nice.
So the idea is that you've got 4 messages on a 2-sided piece of card. So that was the easy part. Okay, I want to do wishing you a Merry Christmas. So how can I make it more Christmassy than just that? So the original is like a white plaque with black. I made it with wrapping paper, so it looked like wrapping paper.
Okay.
But that gimmick took me. It's such although the idea is simple and the method is simple, it's such a complex thing. It's so complex. It took me probably 4 hours just to make the gimmick. And the video is literally wishing you a Merry Christmas. And that's it. But I loved it. The dedication was there. I wasn't doing much else, so it was worth doing, you know?
It was worth doing.
And then I had another idea with a Christmas card. Do you know that it's an old kids sort of entertainer gag where the reindeer the rabbit has disappeared and they turn around and it's on their back or it's on their head?
No, I just know the one with the ferret.
Yeah, similar thing. So I thought of the idea that I had a Christmas card with Santa Claus on, and I'd be laughing at the joke, and then he vanishes off the card, and then I can't find him, and I turn around and he's stuck on the back of my head.
Yeah.
Again, that gimmick was, it's not based on any prop at all, but it was just something that I thought about how I would make him vanish. But I had to buy like 10 of this Christmas card from the shops, cut them all up, and again, it took me hours to make this prop. But again, the whole process is fun. Coming up with the idea. But there were some panic moments. There was a couple of panic moments where I said to a couple of people, I'm really stuck for ideas. And one guy I know, he does the silk through neck.
Okay.
Idea. He said, have you thought about anything like that? You could do, maybe a chain or something. So I did tinsel, like a tinsel rope. So you wrap it around and pull it. That was very simple. That took me, 10 minutes to film. So it was fine.
Yeah, that's
different. And then what I did for the rest of the day was start making and thinking about the following day.
Yes, very important. So you can stay relaxed the next day.
Stay relaxed. So there were
ideas.
Sorry?
Any of the ideas that ended up you actually using them in your shows, maybe modified so they're not Christmassy?
No, because it was the other way around. Most of it is stuff that I already did that I adapted for Christmas. Yeah, so it was the other way around. Yeah.
I thought maybe you had one day where you actually came up with something completely new out of the box. That's why. So, regarding this is why I wanted to start with the Christmas thing, because on Christmas people give gifts, right? A lot of kids get magic. A lot of kids get magic kits. And you got a magic kit when you were 11, right?
Younger, yeah, about 8. Yeah.
About eight. So you stopped doing magic when you were 11?
No, a little bit later on. So I started doing magic when I was... Yeah, I started liking magic when I was a bit younger, but probably when I was about 8, I got a magic kit, a magic set. I've actually... Well,
the one from Paul Daniels.
Do you want to see it?
The one from Paul Daniels?
Yeah.
Yeah, show it.
It's up here.
Yeah, show it. Oh man, look at that!
So this is the first magic set that I had.
That's just good vibes right there.
And you can kind of see it's all classic kid stuff.
Thimbles, cups and balls.
Yeah.
I think that's a Svengali maybe.
Yeah, the ones that
the moves, the shrinks.
The small one that becomes bigger.
Exactly.
It's all in there. So that was the first magic set that I got, and then following on from that, I know in the UK we had kind of mini magic sets.
Yep, we have this in at least in Romania. We have them as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, little things. So when I was younger, I had that, loved performing that to family and friends, at Christmas times. And then there was a shop that opened up, like a joke shop. Used to do pranks. This guy would
pranks and stuff.
Pranks and stuff. And the idea with him was that if you wanted to, he would show you a magic trick, and then if you wanted to buy it, he would then teach you how to use it. Go back behind the counter, and then he would teach you how to use it. So I had a lot of fun with that, but it was all just sort of family and friends. And then I stopped kind of, I then started going to the library and learning stuff. I started making my own little props and things, but they were pretty crude, like card gimmicks, like the card spread that is only the size of a playing card. So it looks like 4 or 5 cards, but then they vanish and it's just the one card. These were made with sellotape and awful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But my family, being my family and being kind, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's brilliant."
Well, you have to be as a kid in the end,
Yeah, exactly. It's only now I realise that I hadn't fooled them at all.
Now you realise when you're looking back.
Yeah. But when I got a bit older, sort of teenage years, I kind of got out of magic. No, I'd not heard of any other people into magic. I didn't know about magic clubs. I'd heard of the Magic Circle, but I thought it was this kind of hugely elite place, that only Paul Daniels and the type kind of go to. And then I got back into magic when I was 39. So yeah, about 12 years ago, something like that.
Beautiful break. Now, you got a magic set when you were 39 as well, which got you back into magic.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, it's going to be a small game between us because you're a graphic designer as well and you're a creator, so it's perfect. I want you to imagine what a kid might discover if they buy a Steve Rowe magic kit.
Okay. What they might discover as in the types of magic or the...
Yeah.
Or
the types, the tricks, whatever. What would it be like if you made a magic kit? Try and give yourself that idea. Don't just put together, like maybe a couple of tricks. Like try and think theme and everything.
Yeah. So the theme would definitely be aired towards kind of very fun, very organic.
Yeah.
I do a lot of sweet-based magic, which we can touch on in a minute. But yeah, it will be. None of my magic is very difficult to learn technique on.
True.
It's all about performance. It's all about having fun, a nice relaxed style of approach as a magician, rather than a card flicking kind of guy, So everything's very fun. Wouldn't take a lot to learn, but you'd need to practice it to get the confidence, right?
Sure. Which you need in performance.
Absolutely.
I think it's actually perfect for kids because that's what you want to teach them at the beginning, the presentation part. And later on, when they're older and their hands are bigger, they can learn all the sleight of hand.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So what would the name for the magic kit be?
The Lovable Trick Box.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Because my tagline here as a performer is the Lovable Trickster, so that would make sense. The Lovable Trick Box.
The Lovable Trick Box.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I have noticed you preach, and one of the things is presentation over method, which I think is very nice. Another thing is creating a connection with your audience.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I want you to imagine that inside of this magic kit, there's a small booklet of 3 things that you would like to teach the kids buying this magic kit.
Okay.
What are the 3 things that you would like to teach somebody that's from 8 to 14, and they're starting out and they're reading it in your magic kit?
Okay. The first would be how to say hello. How to, I don't want to say how to introduce yourself. You are introducing yourself, but I think being able to say hello and smile and create an immediate kind of bond with people is super, super, super important.
Yeah.
And you do that by being relaxed and just being yourself. I think that's probably the most important thing that any magician really needs is if you need to win people over as such immediately, and you do that by your introduction.
True. Number one. Number two.
Okay, number two.
I put a spotlight on Steve here.
You have, yeah. It kind of follows on from the introduction, and that's just smile and be happy and energetic, because your energy and how you are is reflected with your audience. You know, if you go in and you're kind of shy and not in a great mood, or don't seem to be in a great mood, that's gonna be reflected with them, and then it's not going to make your performance so much fun. So lots of energy, lots of smiles, and just not taking it too seriously.
True. Especially important to accept any mistakes that you might make early on, from which you can actually.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, everybody makes mistakes. Yeah.
But it's mistakes which we shy away from constantly, you know.
Yeah. I don't see when you're. I haven't answered number 3 yet, have I? I'm going to digress a little bit. So when you're performing and you make a mistake, if you don't highlight the mistake, often the spectator has no awareness whatsoever of it. No idea unless you highlight it. So the idea of making a mistake and moving on. Every performance, every gig I do, there's stuff that I analyse and I think, maybe I should have said something different there, or that was great, I could have said something there. I think it's important to keep being like that. But yeah, as long as you don't highlight. This is why I think technique, which might not be very popular, but I think performance over technique for me, because you can overshadow technique with your performance. Whereas if your technique goes wrong, the whole thing collapses. Does that make sense?
It does, and it's something that I actually found in. You might actually know this magician though. He's called. Where's the book? I have it over here somewhere. It's Robert Parrish. Do you know it?
No.
It's called For Magicians Only, and one of the things that it preaches inside, and it blew me away, was how do you word your presentation. So, for example, one of the most often met things in magicians is they say what they do. So we're gonna take the Ace of Hearts and we're gonna place it in the center, and we're gonna lose it in the center, and I'm gonna snap my fingers, and the ace is now on top. Right? So this is called descriptive magic. That's how he calls it. Okay. And he said, I'll show you how important it is to not describe what you're doing. Yes. And then he shows a performance of somebody that's palming, what do you call them? Nutshells. Yeah, he's palming nutshells. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't say anything about what he's doing. He's just talking about how the nutshells are very shy and sometimes they vanish. And by mistake, one of his nutshells falls from his hand. Right. And then he just says, take a look at that nutshell where it was hiding. Right? Yeah. And because of the presentation and the wording, any mistake can be covered. Absolutely. Whereas with descriptive magic, you can't do that.
No, the descriptive magic is a huge pet peeve of mine. And there's a phrase out there that I've seen a lot of magicians doing it. What I'm going to do.
What I'm going to do, yes.
What I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is. And it's like, you don't need to describe what you're going to do. You just need to do it and let the audience make their decision what you're doing. And it's very much the same, like you're saying with card magic, and you don't. Less is more, as they say. Let the audience make their own mind up. Sometimes it's good to clarify. If you've got quite a long routine and you need to clarify some beats and some moments within that, I think that's important to kind of go over it again. Do you remember you had a completely free choice? It was in your mind, or whatever you might say. You've been holding that the whole time. Those kinds of things are important to reinstill with people what's been happening in case they forget it, because there is a lot going on and you don't want them to forget those key moments.
I
But
think
yeah,
that's
descriptive magic is just
it.
yeah,
That's the only
a pet peeve.
moment when you should use
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
But
yeah,
I think
I'm not a descriptive magician at all.
there's a lot of effects now on the market that don't invite a lot of presentation. You know, it's just so powerful that it can overshadow presentation. So you're just like, watch, I'm gonna draw an X here, I'm gonna take it and put it there. Like that's it. It's just that's how it
if
is. You know?
if you let it be, yeah, if you let it be. Can I show you?
Yes.
Right, I'm going to show you. We're talking about presentations, so this is important. I've never shared this with anybody. It's something that I do all the time, and I'm going to show you. It's not a magic trick, okay?
Okay.
But
Perfect.
I'm going to show you a presentation that I use, and it's all about performance. And this is one of the things that I do as my icebreaker, as they call it. Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna do it as I normally would. Okay. So
Okay.
hi, my name's Steve. I'm a magician. Have you ever met a magician before?
No.
You haven't. Excellent. Okay. Well, I've been into magic quite a long time. My grandfather was actually a magician, and he taught me something when I was 4 years old. And when I first saw this was the thing that made me believe in real magic. And I'm going to share it with you. So you've never seen a magician before. This is the first magic trick that I saw. I want you to see that as your first magic trick. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So every good magician has a magic box. And I'm going to show you my grandfather's magic box. It looked very similar to this. And you can see it's got nothing inside it. But if I wave my magic thumb the way my grandfather did, a flame appears. Now, Biz, I want you to click your fingers. You do the magic, the flame has now disappeared. Now listen, we know that this is a lighter, don't we?
Yeah.
But when you're 4 years old and your grandfather tells you that this is a magic box, and when he clicks his thumb and a flame appears, and when you click your fingers it disappears, when you're 4 years old, that's the most magical thing you've ever seen, and that's what made me believe in magic. Now the problem is, as we get older, we know that this is a lighter. Now the object hasn't changed, but my perception of what is happening has changed. And it's my job as a magician to help you believe in magic again. So for the next few moments, I'm going to show you something that will blow your mind. That's my introduction.
Beautiful intro, man.
So, thank you. So that's my introduction. All I'm doing is setting them up. So I'm giving them a bit of history about myself. I'm setting them up that I'm not overly serious.
Yeah.
And I'm also setting them up for something, coming along that's magical. So that is kind of my introduction, and I do that 99% of the time,
I think you're not only just setting up.
Sorry?
Yeah, I don't think you're only just setting up the mood and who you are, because it's very essential, the story that you chose. Because you said, this is what I saw when I was 4, and I want you to see the same magic trick. And in a sense, it brings me back to that childhood days. So you're taking me, I feel like what you're doing is you're kidnapping the person from this reality, and you're taking them into the past. And they feel for a bit like they're watching their grandpa or somebody doing a trick.
Yeah. So reason I wanted to show you that is because that's just a lighter. But honestly, just doing that presentation, often people say, you're the best magician we've ever seen. And they haven't seen any magic. Because I'm winning them over with the presentation and drawing them in.
Yeah.
The follow-up to that is that I then say that, in fact, it's not the box that's magic, it's the flame. And I set my wallet on fire. The wallet looks like it's on fire, but it's actually not. I turn it round and then it goes out. And then so there's the beat of actual magic.
Very nice.
That then goes into, I then go into various other tricks. So yeah, I follow it up with the fire wallet. But I don't set the fire wallet on fire like this. I set it alight with the lighter. Kieran Johnson shared that idea with me. I think it's much more magical. If you take a wallet and set it on fire and then it goes out, rather than take a wallet and set it on fire. It's a magic gimmick wallet if you do that. It's a wallet setting on fire if you don't.
I never thought about that. That's amazing. I'm only gonna I got a fire wallet. I never used it.
Oh really? Right. Yeah. So
I didn't understand like why ever in my life I would open the wallet and it would be on fire, right?
Yeah.
But this way.
Yeah. So Kieran came up with that idea and shared with me. I'll get my fire wallet and I'll show you something about the fire wallet.
Do it.
I just add some fuel. Because again, this presentation of a fire wallet, which I think is unique to me, I've never shared it with anybody, is again quite magical. So if you imagine, I've already talked about the flame and clicking the fingers. It's actually the flame that's magical. It looks like it's real, but it's not. It's going to look like I'm setting my wallet on fire, but I'm actually not. So if I do that, that looks like that's on fire, but you can see it's not.
Oh my god, it looks so good! Oh my god!
So while it's open, the action of turning it round to show them, you do that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god.
So again, let me just show you how that looks. So that looks like that's really on fire, but you can see it's not.
So good.
So what I'm not doing is I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So most magicians do that and that, don't they?
Yeah, they do. That's it.
Most magicians do that and then that. That's not what I'm doing. So I'm lighting it, and then I'm saying no, it's not on fire.
So good.
I just discovered that action of turning it around closes it at the same time, and it looks so natural.
So natural. For everybody out there that has a flame wallet, you only have to do it like this. For everybody that has a wallet like this.
I think so. So thanks to Kieran for showing me the idea. I think he put it on his chaotic DVD about not using the light of it. Yeah, just setting it on fire. It's so much better. Because that's what you would do, wouldn't it?
I think Di Vernon would approve of this way of performing it. Because it feels much more at home with what people would expect to happen, you know? You open the wallet, nothing happens. You burn the wallet, it burns. And then there's the magic at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're setting them up, you're drawing them in, and so in that moment, if you imagine you've seen that, in that moment, they're kind of, I haven't gone along and said, I'm going to show you a magic trick, you know? I've automatically gone in and shown them my character, I've shown them a little bit of fire, some pizzazz, you know, and some magic along the way. So I think that whole intro is probably why I win people over quite quickly.
I think so too. You've won me over, my heart and my soul.
Oh, bless you.
So one thing that I have noticed while I was looking up your stuff and everything is that it feels on me, and I think on your audience, that you're filled with wonder. You're not only filled with what?
That I am.
That you are filled with wonder inside.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just wonder for magic itself or for performing itself. I feel that you as a human being are filled with wonder, you know? And that's one of the things that I would like to ask you for people at home. I think there's people that lose that. You know, they lose that childish wonder. And I wouldn't even name it childish wonder. We name it childish because children have it. But I think people lose that wonder in time due to just life being life. And I was wondering, even though it is maybe a bit more natural to you, but how do you keep that wonder alive? How do you keep the magic inside you alive along these years?
So to explain why it's happened with me, I was into magic when I was a kid, absolutely loved magic, got out of magic, got back into magic when I was 39. I got back into magic when I was 39 because I saw a magician christening. He was doing sponge boards and stuff, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing. I was back to being that kid again. Then my girlfriend, she got me a magic set, and I was learning. I didn't even at this time. I didn't even know what a double lift was. I'd never heard of a double lift, so you can imagine everything that I was experiencing: dynamic coins, ring on string. Everything I was experiencing was new, like I was that kid again.
Sure.
So I became a 40-year-old man with the childlike wonder because I was learning stuff for the very first time again. So I've found it very easy to keep hold of that wonder because I love magic. Even when I know the methods, I still love to see it. And even when I'm performing it, I still love to perform it. And I perform it like it's the first time I've ever seen it. So I remember vividly how I felt and thought about magic when I was a kid and when I was an adult as well, not, when I was 39, 40. And I think you need to take that with you. I think you need to remember that the audience are seeing stuff that they've never seen before. Yeah. And if you can keep it simple and not overcomplicate things, I talk about this a fair bit about, I think the tendency with magicians is that they learn the basics, and it's wonderful. They then learn super complicated technical stuff, and they get bogged down with that, and they forget about the basics being the bit that an audience love. If you can, they say, don't they? If you can explain, if the audience can explain a magic trick in a couple of sentences, then it's a good magic trick.
True.
But simple things like a double turnover, lots of magicians forget that a card selected, lost in the pack, a missed call double turnover, then it's their card. To an audience is the most amazing, because they've never seen a double lift and don't know what it is, like I didn't when I was 39. It's the most amazing thing they've ever seen. The invisible deck, another favourite of mine, is one of the simplest, best magic tricks out there. The magicians love, and they do it, and then they stop it because they buy stuff or they learn stuff, and it's almost like they want to justify how good or how technical they are by all this stuff that they've gone through, forgetting that what's important is that bit beforehand, the simple stuff. So in answer to the question about keeping that kind of energy and that wonder, it's just remembering how you felt and that audience is feeling like that when you're performing to them. And I think that's really important to be mindful of. And I love people, and I love performing, and I'm very excited by it all. A friend of mine, Chris Wood, from the Magic Circle. Do you know Chris Wood?
No.
No. Okay, so he's a respected member of the Magic Circle, lovely guy, and he did a show with myself and Sila. And at the time, it was a few years ago, and at the time I was wasn't sure who I was. They'd say that you've got to be a character of some form, and I wasn't quite sure where I was. And he said, look, you're just the brother that's excited by magic and loves it, and just everything you see is wonderful. And that's when the Lovable trickster kind of came about. That's how I feel. I genuinely am excited. I can repeat like that little performance that you saw with the lighter and the fire wallet. I'm doing that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times over the course of months. Every single time I do it, because it's new people, it feels new.
It does feel new. Yeah, I can imagine.
So did that answer the question? I can't remember what the question was.
I have no idea where we segued from this. I think. The question you did reply was, how do you keep alive the magic inside of you?
Yeah.
And I think one thing that you said, which I found myself in, I've been doing only cards up until I was 24, and I started working in a magic shop when I was 24. Right. And I never saw props, I never saw gimmicks, I never saw anything. So for 2 years, I kept getting blown away by these things, And if there would be an advice that I would give people would be, when they're young, to not expose themselves to everything there is in magic, basically.
No.
Just choose one thing and do that. And then
absolutely, yeah.
You're gonna reignite. Go on.
Yeah, and when you're performing, I think it's important to recognize. I mean, I love magic. I love a lot of magic. I love a lot of styles of magic. I love a lot of different routines, ideas, gimmicks. And I've been down the route like we all have of buying stuff and not really using it, but I still love it. So I think it's important to find out what you love to watch as a muggle, as a spectator, what the magic you love to watch.
As a muggle.
So the magic you love to watch is different to the magic you love to perform. I think that's something that's really important to think about, because what I absolutely love to see might not necessarily suit me. I love the linking rings. I love the linking rings. A friend of mine, Matthew Garrett, who does the ninja rings.
Yeah,
if you see him performing that, it's absolutely incredible. I would not be able to perform that and do that justice at all. It doesn't suit me, but it suits me as a spectator. But it doesn't suit me as a performer.
I mean, you could take a linking ring and then produce a gigantic lollipop from it.
You could, yeah, you could.
You can do linking ring and lollipop, and you're like linking the lollipop inside of the chain.
Yes. What suits me better is the linking coat hangers. Have you seen that?
No, I have not, but I would see you do that for sure.
Yeah, I can't remember who it's by, but yeah, it's basically it's hilarious routine. That would really suit me.
I would see you do that.
So you've got a coat hanger still in your jacket. You take it out. You've got another one. You link them together, and then you get all you're getting yourself all inside them, and that sort of thing would work for me. Yeah, maybe I'll revisit that idea.
I feel like we arrived here in a spot that I really wanted to arrive. There's one thing that you said in your interview with Craig Petty, which I really liked, and I feel it touched base with something that I wanted to discuss with you, is that you presented a lot of ideas. So anybody watching this interview and you would like to see Steve Rowe literally dissect his ideas and how he created a lot of the lollipop magic, go to Craig Petty and watch that entire interview. It's just, it's like 5% Craig Petty talks and 95% is just Steve Rowe explaining these effects. It blows your mind, you know? I don't think Craig Petty was prepared for that interview, not even one bit. So one of the things that you said there, which I really just shows your humbleness and your values, is that some of the tricks that you came up with, you can't take full credit for them, because you've had people either come to you and give you the idea, or the idea just came out of communicating with people. Yeah. And there's one thing you didn't, I mean, I would phrase differently what you said, and I want to hear what you think about my phrasing. The thing that people would see if they watch the Craig Petty interview is that Craig didn't ask you to show people anything. I mean, when I tell you to show, I mean explain the method. You really explained the method behind every one of your effects without Petty saying anything. And I think that you do this as a natural thing with magicians. And probably, I don't know if with close friends, but magicians is what we're focusing on now. And this is something that I don't see from magicians happening. They just explain the effect. I'm gonna have to wait a little bit here. There we go.
So sorry, yeah, I was getting a call from somebody just then. Am I back?
Yeah, you are back. So
sorry.
The thing that struck a chord with me is that you're doing something that I believe is what attracts people to share their ideas with you or to tell you their ideas, because you're literally just showing them how it's done.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I believe if creators would be much more open with their ideas with other magicians, the art of magic would flourish more. At least between creators.
Yeah, I have this thing. We've all been there where we've seen something wonderful online or on a DVD or whatever, or someone perform it. We buy it and then we're super disappointed because either the method is rubbish or you don't think that you're ever going to be able to pull it off properly, or it's been heavily edited. I think I can understand, certainly with lay people. Obviously, I'm not going to start exposing ideas and methods with anyone that's not a magician. But I think among magicians, I don't think there should be a secret to any methods, because you're not buying the method, you're buying the idea, you're buying the performance rights, you're buying that thing. I don't think you're buying the method. So I don't mind sharing all of my methods with people who either want to buy it or don't want to buy it or want to go away and make their own stuff exactly the same. I'm quite happy for that. I'm not in this to make thousands of pounds profit out of products. I'm in this to enjoy magic, to share it with people, and that's how it will grow. So I'm really not worried about anyone knowing the methods that I use. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, and I really wanted to like pull this out and let people know that this is something you do, so that if there's creators watching, they're inspired to do this with other magicians close to them.
But I don't know why people don't. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Well, they'll say, "Oh no, I'm not going to show you how it works. You have to buy it." It's like, why?
I don't know. I really don't know.
And often I'll like an effect and I'll want it. I could and I know the method. I could super easy make it myself, but I buy it
to show your support.
Because I respect the idea. I'm buying the idea and the rights to perform it. That's what I'm buying in my head. I'm not buying the thing or the method. And that's what I'm paying for. And I've paid hundreds of pounds for stuff that I could make for £10. Quite easy. But I'm not worried. I'm supporting people, you know?
You are right. Yeah, you are right. I think there are things that we, as human beings, not only as magicians, certain ideas, philosophies that help us make decisions in life or be okay with decisions that we make in life.
Yeah.
And if we're still at it, can you tell me like two philosophies or two values that you have that help you guide your decisions, either in magic or in your day-to-day lives? Like this would be one of them, you know, you buy something because you want to support and you're also buying the rights. You know, I believe that if you wouldn't have this idea in your head, you would feel that you're investing your money in your show, or maybe that, you know, you're just wasting money. It could be any other philosophy, but you have this. So is there any other thing that comes to your mind?
Well, respect each other, respect other magicians. Again, I've seen, certainly online, people being horrible to other people rather than helping them out. And we are all in this together as far as I'm concerned. And so it's important to share the good and the bad. It's important to be truthful and honest as well. There's a lot of ego in magic, I will say.
There is.
You've probably experienced, you know. So I think that is, if you're starting out and you believe all the stuff that you hear and read and are told, I think a lot of people just wouldn't even bother. And it frightens me that a lot of people aren't bothering because they're being held back. So I think that's a shame. I don't think that's the way to grow the art. And I do consider it an art.
Oh, I'm so happy you said that. That was like the first few things I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, how do you define magic and what is magic to you? You said magic is an art, but can you evolve a little bit?
I think the whole process of magic is an art, but for me it's being able to take, again, it sounds cliche, but it's very, very true. Once you're able to do this, once you're able to take people away from the mundane of life for a few moments, that is just an incredible. I'd say it's a gift. I think it's a gift to be able to recognise how to do it and to actually be able to do it, you know, and be grateful that there are people out there working. You've got TV and you know, famous magicians that are pumping out magic that people love, and then it means that the public want to see it, and then when the public experience it, it's very different.
Very different. And most people have never actually experienced it close up.
Most people have, they've only, which again is why I came up with this introduction of, have you ever seen a magician before? It's a really nice question, because most of the time they will say, I've seen someone on TV. So I say, you've never seen one live, so this is going to be the first magic trick you ever see it, immediately I'm in there. Very rare that, but someone might say, "Oh yeah, I saw a guy at a wedding. He was amazing." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you very much." And I'm going to go, right, never mind. But I then lead into another. I then lead into another routine where I basically get them to give me a false rating of 0 to 10 of being the best magician they've ever seen. This is. I won't disclose that. It's a long one.
Okay. So,
yes.
given that we are getting close to the end of the interview, there's like the third thing you would have to put in the magic kit that you didn't. What is the third thing?
Some glue, some sticky back tape, and a catalogue. So some props to make their own stuff.
So you would inspire them to create their own stuff technically.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. One of the beauties of me getting into magic a bit later on is that I am not overly aware of all the methods and all the products out there, and I come up with stuff that's already been done. But I'm not worried about that because that process of learning to build. So I would probably one of the magic tricks in the kit would be part built, and they've got to finish it, but with using the parts.
Very nice. I like that.
So yeah, encouraging them to make their own and realize that once you make your own, you can make your own. It's a lot of people go, "Oh, I could never do that." It's like, have you tried? No. Well, how do you know you could never do it if you never tried?
Oh my God, you have no idea. That's a gigantic idea. It's called Finish the Magic Kit. Finish the magic.
Yes.
You know, and you get everything, and it's like 90% done, 80% done. And it's just for kids to finish it, and they understand how. Oh my God, it's mind blowing. Finish the magic kit.
Because the other thing is, a lot of magicians, they, and there's nothing wrong with this. There's room for this, but they take a magic trick and they perform it verbatim. Script is exactly the same. The method is, the presentation is exactly the same. Okay, but just change it slightly. Make it fit for you. Make it. Instead of it being some. Playing cards, use. I've got a thing I do for children. I don't know what the trick is called, but I might have it. Hold on. Yeah. So this trick is one of the ones that I learned when I was a kid. But I've got these made up with Where's Wally? Have you heard of Where's Wally?
Yep.
So you know that the card trick where they've got to find the queen.
No. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so find the queen and then you have to put the peg on the queen.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, but that makes no sense.
No.
It's a bit dull for me.
Yeah.
And for adults and kids, this makes more sense. There's Where's Wally? We have Where's Wally? Do you know Where's Wally?
Yeah, it's right there on the right. It's right there.
Yeah. So there's Wally. So instead of playing cards with the queen on, and you've got to find the queen. If you do it with Where's Wally, all of a sudden you've got a different audience, and then obviously they've got to find where he is, and they can't. So I make those up and I give them away to children at weddings and parties, and they run around and that again is one of the first tricks that I learned when I was a kid. And if they're sort of 7, 8, 9 years old, they can quite easily run off and perform that. That serves two purposes. It means that the kids aren't following me around and the adults get to see some magic. And it means that the adults really feel like I've looked after the children, which I have.
Yes.
But it's something very, very simple. So what I'm saying is when you get magic ideas, make them your own. Just tweak them a little bit. And then you're more comfortable performing them because they're more your own. And then you perform it a lot better. And then it evolves.
Oh, this is like an entire subject that I wanted to attack with you. Like, what does it mean to be yourself and make stuff your own? Because there really is people out there that they don't know what that means. They don't. No.
No.
And this is like a thing that everybody promotes, but nobody talks a lot about what it means to actually become yourself. Slowly understand who you are. But that's a big subject.
It's a big subject, but I think you hit on the word slowly. it doesn't happen overnight. And I think a lot of people, they feel that they've got to make their magic their own and it's going to happen overnight. It develops over years, and it develops over years and over routines. Just something very simple to make it your own in one routine, run with that, and then just inject little parts of you all the way through your act. And then the audience is buying into you. That makes you unique. That makes you memorable. You'll be a lot more relaxed. And they say your performing style, a lot of people, it's an exaggeration of themselves. That's when they found themselves as a performer. They become an exaggerated version of themselves, which is all I am. I'm not a character, but I am a little bit more exaggerated than myself. It's almost like the part of me that I just want to let out all the time, I'm able to do when I'm performing magic.
True. Very well put right there, man.
But yeah, it's that's a big subject.
Well, one idea that I had, and then I think we have to close because it's like 3 minutes before your leaving time. So one idea that I had while you were talking inside of your magic kit, the thing that really does happen is people read a presentation, and kids do this because they're not creative enough yet, and their parents don't have time to help them with a presentation. So they read word by word the presentation of the magic trick. So in this magic kit, you actually leave out words, and you just tell them, here, put a word that means something like this, and here.
Fantastic, yeah.
My God.
Yeah, and
$1 million magic kit.
Yeah, tell them an initial story and let them make the rest of it up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you say, and it certainly comes across more with children magicians that are acting and wording themselves like adults, because they're learning script verbatim and they're not being themselves. Do you watch Britain's Got Talent at all?
I do, yes.
Yeah, did you see Killian on Britain's Got Talent this year?
I have not yet.
Okay,
not yet.
Incredible. And what's incredible, I absolutely love watching him, is because he is himself, completely himself. He's excitable. Everything from him is pure and real. Although he's had, Russ Stevens would have helped him in the background, obviously, with routining, and they did a really good job of keeping it all about him and it being natural. And the tricks that he did were just, they suited him perfectly. Simple, like a thumb tip hanky vanish. Perfect. It suited him. And I think that's really important, is just to try and find yourself. It's easy to say, but I think if you start injecting little parts of you within routines, even if it's like I talk about my grandfather and the lighter, even if it's talking about something like that, to make it more about you, and then building up eventually over time, you'll eventually find yourself, and then you'll shine through.
True, you will. So, what would you like to tell our viewers in the end of this interview? Like
probably
something.
Probably to recap what we've gone over, I think the most important thing about being a magician is to enjoy it. You enjoy it by learning and performing things that you like, and be yourself. Again, it's very cliche, but try and be yourself. Try not to be anybody else. I'm not going to be Tiger Woods. I can honestly say that. Although I play golf and I love golf, I'm never going to be Tiger Woods, no matter how much I try. But I am me, and I still enjoy it. And
that's the best thing.
I think that's the most important thing. It's in a world that we live in, it's lovely to be able to have some real fun with people.
Wow. There we go, guys. There we go. Right there. Thank you very much, Steve Rowe. This has been the most lovable interview that I've had, and I'm very sad.
It's been really fun. It's been really fun. You've asked some really, really good questions. Thank you.
I had like 4 pages of questions.
Well, maybe we'll do a part 2, because you did want me to show you did want me to teach a trick and do all sorts. But the wallet. Let's do a part 2 sometime.
The wallet.
Yeah.
Right there.
There we go. I had no intention of sharing that.
I know you shared it out of pure love, which is even better.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for watching until now, and I'll see you in the next episode where we're probably going to have Alan Roryson or John Kerry. We're going to see.
Oh, wow. 2 heroes.
There we go.